So we are now on count and then non-count nouns, and we are going to look for what count and non-count nouns are, the difference between count and then non-count nouns. So for count nouns or countable nouns, what we say is they are nouns that can be counted. We can count them, right? You can count them. So we have examples like, these are singular forms of count nouns: pen, book, bag, car, right? And the plural forms for these are pens, books, bags, cars, right? These can be counted so far as we can count them, right? We regard them as countable nouns. Countable nouns. The pen, pens, right? And so on and so forth. And these are regarded as common nouns. They are regarded as common nouns, right? So as we learned under common nouns, the same knowledge should be applied here. Pen, right, cannot stand alone in a sentence. You must begin it with the definite article there. And it goes the same thing for all these things. But for pens, because it is plural, it can stand alone. So that is it for countable nouns. And when it comes to non-count nouns, what we say is they are nouns that cannot be counted. So it's more or less like the opposite of countable nouns. These ones cannot be counted. You cannot count them. And we have examples like sugar, rice, water, milk, sand, and air. These cannot be counted. But there is an exception. I want to pass it on to you. Basically, sometimes you may be doing some readings and then you may come across waters. Why do such writings bring waters there? Why do they bring waters there? Because that water cannot be counted. Waters are there to mean that we are referring to different kinds of water bodies. Different kinds of water bodies, which we may have the sea, rivers, lakes, streams, and all that. These are together considered as waters, right? So you may read something and then that particular piece may talk about waters. In that case, the person is referring to different kinds of water bodies, and that is why the person used waters in that sense, because the person did not want to mention the different water bodies probably experienced, and that is why waters is allowed to be said there. And the same thing could be said about sugar. We have different types of sugar. We have white sugar and then brown sugar, right? White sugar and brown sugar, and probably there might be some other kinds there which I may not be privy to, but we have white sugar and then brown sugar. So if they are packaged in different containers, I can say I have sugars there. I have sugars in my fridge or on my fridge. I have sugars on my fridge. If I say I have sugars on my fridge, then it means that I am talking about different kinds of sugar. The different types of sugar, which may be the white sugar and then the brown sugar. I may have white sugar and then brown sugar there. So I want to tell you that I have sugars there. So go for the one you may prefer to use. But if I have, say, 10 containers of white sugar on my fridge, I cannot say I have sugars on my fridge, because in that case, I'm referring to only one type, and therefore I can say I have sugar. I have sugar. If it is that for the brown sugar, I have sugar. But if I have these two types put together, I can say sugars. And that is why sometimes someone can use sugars, and some other times someone can also use waters for such non-count nouns. So as we study non-count nouns, these are some of the differences or the revelations we come across. And I believe anytime you read or you come across some of these things, you may not be confused, but you know that for this reason why the person said this or that. So that is it for count and then non-count nouns. So that is it. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more lessons on nouns.